Hey, Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more relationship stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Well, let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from a throwaway account titled, My Husband 42 Male Got Rid of My 42 Female Cat to Someone Who Won't Give Him Back. After my dad passed, I was feeling very down, like I had a hole that I couldn't fill. I was finding it hard to keep myself busy around the house during the day, so I decided to adopt my cat, Benji. I rescued him when he was so small he fit in the palm of my hand, and have had him for 2 years. This may sound crazy to some, but I really believe Benji is the reincarnation of my dad. When I look into his eyes, I feel something more than a cat, like a cat was born with a human soul. All the timing adds up, it all makes sense to me at least. Even if I am crazy, the thought brings me comfort and I don't see anything wrong with it. My husband thinks this is strange and unhealthy. He says my bond with a cat freaks him out and makes him uncomfortable that I truly believe he has my dad's soul. It's been 2 years since he died. Benji really saved me. He's the best companion I could have asked for. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to cuddle up with an animal that loves you at the end of a long day. Though hubby would disagree. Now, I went on a girls' trip with my sisters and mum for her birthday, and while I was gone, my husband decided he was going to rehome my cat without my permission. I had no idea what was going on while I was out. When I came home, I couldn't find the cat, and my first thought was that he must have somehow made his way outside. This already worried me because we never let him out. God knows what could happen to him out there. After my frantic search inside and on my way outside to keep searching, hubby informs me that Benji is staying with a friend. What? So I demanded that he call to take him back ASAP. He wouldn't, but thankfully he told me who he gave my cat to, so I had to make some calls of my own. Benji is currently stuck with my husband's co-worker. We aren't good friends, but we are friendly, have dinner together sometimes, etc. So I called the co-worker asking for my cat back, and he tells me my husband gave him away fair and square, and he won't be returning my cat. My husband had no right. The cat has always been only mine. I adopted him. I raised him. I care for him. I'm the only one who ever spends any money on him. I'm at a loss right now. Benji has never been through anything like this, and I can only imagine the stress he must be feeling right now. I know I sure am. So many things are racing through my mind right now. My cat's safety, extreme disappointment in my husband. I'm disgusted he would even think about something like this. I have no idea what to do and where to start. I just want my cat back safely, and then we'll have to deal with hubby. Now, we've seen stories in the past where pets have been given away just like that, and I always wonder what goes through that person's head if they think that's going to suddenly fix everything. Yeah, I'm going to give your pet away and then everything will be okay. Of course it's not going to be okay. You've just destroyed your own relationship by doing so. And of course you need to threaten that friend with getting the police involved because basically they've stolen, although it was given to them, it's still not their cat. And then what you do with your husband is up to you. But I know in this case for me, I won't be able to trust him again if he's willing to do something like that. But Zulius says, I assume you have paperwork on the cat from a vet or a breeder, and you can prove it's yours. Animals are property. This is theft. Call the police. I am herding cat says the cat was not your husband's to give away. I would consult with an attorney about how to go about getting Benji back. You can also speak with animal control and the police, just to cover your bases. I would also be consulting a divorce attorney, but that's your decision of course. Per says 1. Tell the co-worker you're coming over to get your cat. Then you have a ridiculous amount of proof that it is your cat and that your husband gave it away without your permission. And if he doesn't give you the cat, you'll call the police to report him for the theft, followed up with a call to their company to report what he and your husband have done. 2. Kick your husband out and file for divorce. See if your cat can stay with someone else until your husband is out of the home for good. 3. Get grief therapy. It's one thing to create an intense bond with a pet that came into your life at a very difficult time and feel extremely connected. Believing wholeheartedly that your reincarnated father is something else entirely. And one more comment from Outrageous Director who says, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I can't begin to imagine how distraught and betrayed you must feel. Is your cat microchipped? I'd report Benji as stolen and insist the cat be returned, filing a police report if necessary. Then I personally would insist that your husband attend couples counseling. If you feel like you could never trust him again, or consult with a divorce attorney ASAP, and include all that's happened with Benji in the conversation with the attorney. No offense, but your husband sounds awful. I hope you get your cat back soon. Opie then gives an update and says, "Thank you all for all the support and advice. It means so much to me. I would have never expected to get so much. You are all such kind souls." First, I filed a police report. I collected as much proof of ownership as possible, and I reached out to the co-worker's wife and explained what was going on, and promptly asked them to return Benji. She then informed me that she had no idea what I was talking about. At this point, I was furious with rage. I asked my husband what the fuck was going on. Told him I have the police involved and he needs to give up the cat ASAP. Turns out Benji was at a local shelter. Never was with the co-worker at all. I immediately tracked the shelter down to retrieve my boy. I had all my documents needed to prove he is mine, and he has a microchip. I took him straight to my sister's house, where I will also be staying for the time being. My sister has been through divorce and has remarried, so she will help me get all my ducks in a row and prepare to file for divorce. I'm heartbroken, but also incredibly thankful that my poor boy is now home safe. He was clearly stressed and confused, but he's settling in quite well at my sister's. My brother will be picking up any necessities from my house for me. I haven't been home or seen my husband since I left for the shelter. My family has supported me in my decisions, and they're all willing to do whatever it takes to help me when I need them. Again, thank you all so much for the kind words and concern. I was so surprised to see people wanting Benji updates. This experience has been very eye-opening to say the least, in so many ways. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. And our next story is from Everin Wolf, does come with an update as well, and says, "Am I the a-hole for punching my brother in the face at his wedding?" Now I know that based on the title and the answer is an instant yes. I know that punching my brother was fundamentally wrong, but I genuinely feel it was deserved and I won't apologize for it. Some background for the story. I, 28 male, have been married to my wife, 26 female, for 2 years now, together for 4. She is aware I'm writing this, as I told her I wanted outside opinions, and she proofread this for me to make sure she was comfortable with everything said. Kate, my wife, is an amazing, selfless, beautiful woman, but she's been through a lot. She was raised in an abusive household and has been sexually assaulted twice in her adult life while she was in college. When we met, Kate was finishing up her senior year of college, and not long after we started hanging out, she went through a deep depressive period. She started self-harming, and me and my best friend convinced her to get help after a particularly scary incident, so she went to a mental health hospital for a few months to start the process on working through her past traumas. I visited her every week and called her daily to check in and remind her I was there for her. Most of my family would get upset when I talked to them about Kate. They couldn't understand why I would want to be the support person for someone with such deep issues when we had just met. I always told them the same thing I couldn't explain. I couldn't explain it, but I just felt such a deep connection to her. And I was so impressed by how amazing she is after going through everything she did, and regardless what it was, as I wanted to be in her life, so they should get used to it. When I say I would do anything to make this woman happy as possible, I mean it. She's earned it. She has worked so hard to be where she is, and I'm so unbelievably proud of her. Kate is now a happy, confident, self-assured person, but she still has trauma and she still lives with it. And I help her however I can to make that weight less heavy for her. I'll admit a few times over the years I've had to cancel family plans. Nothing major, just like a dinner or bowling because of Kate having a panic attack or just being in a more vulnerable position and needing a quiet night in. It doesn't happen often, and Kate has always reached out to my family after to profusely apologize and ask for a good time for us to reschedule. My brother, 30 male, got married to his now wife, 29 female, a week ago. Everything was going fine. It was a great wedding and the reception was going really well. Kate was having a blast dancing with my sisters until one of our cousins accidentally tripped and knocked her over. He fell on top of her and Kate had a major panic attack. The cousin tried everything he could to help, and there's no hard feelings there. Kate has apologized to him for scaring him as well, and he just jokes saying it was a good excuse to learn how to use his 2 left feet. But my brother freaked out while Kate was having the panic attack, and while I was trying to soothe and calm her down, he was screaming at us to go somewhere private if she was going to cause a fucking scene. Kate was crying hysterically and completely reliving one of the worst moments of her life, and he was yelling at her. I was so mad, but I had to calm Kate down. So I picked her up and carried her to a quiet room and stayed with her until she was okay. She felt so bad and kept saying over and over again that she ruins everything and apologizing. I told her that what he did was unacceptable and that it wouldn't have been a big scene if he didn't make it one. She can't control her panic attacks, but he can control his outbursts, and he made it way worse for her. I was still really pissed at him, but I told Kate that I would go and talk it out with him, so that's what I attempted to do. Him and his wife were both really angry that she couldn't make it to another room before having a breakdown. I tried to take a few deep breaths and explain that she can't hold in a flashback, they just happen, and that she hasn't had a serious panic attack in over a year, so it's normal for them to be more intense. I asked them to put themselves in her shoes and how upset they would be if someone was going to hurt them, and they were terrified, and instead of helping, I yelled and berated them for being afraid. My brother said, that's different because that would be them in a real situation, and this was all a fragment of my wife's issues. But this was real. What she went through happened to her, and during her flashbacks they feel just as real as that event, so it's the same thing. I said as much, and that they aren't being fair to someone who has always gone above and beyond to be nice to them, even on her hardest days. One of my sisters said that my brother was being a jerk and to stop being a drama queen. My brother then blew up again and got in my face and said if I hadn't married a delusional girl who got fucked up and broken by some other guys, his wedding wouldn't have been ruined. I lost it. I punched him and broke his nose. He fell on the ground and started crying. I got in his face and told him that he was more fucked up than she will ever be. And if he ever talked about Kate that way again, I would break a lot more than his nose, and I left. My parents tried to calm me down and said it was messed up what he said, but none of it was technically untrue. I flipped out and told them if they genuinely felt that way, that I never wanted to hear from anyone who thinks that, because she doesn't need that in her life. I don't need people who don't respect and care about the best thing that has ever happened to me. I know hitting him was wrong, but Kate has been scared, depressed, and in pain, but she was never fucked up or broken. And the insinuation that the strongest person I ever met is nothing more than a broken dish that needed to be glued back together, as if it were that fucking simple, pushed me over the edge of being rational in that moment. My sister and the majority of my extended family are on my side, but my parents, brother, and some of my other family are really angry that I would hit him on the best day of his life. He made it one of Kate's most embarrassing, and I won't forgive or apologize to him for his actions. Kate has sat down with me and thinks I should at least work on forgiving him. She doesn't think he was right and is still extremely upset by what he said, but explained that she's a lot and she knows it. Panic attacks can be scary and upsetting for others too, and that I may have chosen to face and tackle those problems with her together, but that my brother hasn't. He didn't choose to be there for her during those moments, and he shouldn't be expected to be. Should he have made it worse and freak out? No. But some people just don't know how to respond in those situations. I know she has a valid point, but I don't think I can forgive him. And I definitely don't think I can apologize to him for the situation. I just don't think I can. So what does everyone think? Am I the arsehole for not apologizing? Should I try to move on and forgive him? And a couple of comments from this one from Fight the Hurricane who says, not the a-hole, very far from it, and I'm truly shocked and hurt for Kate to see what your brother and parents said about her. She is truly an amazing and strong person, and I'm extremely thankful that she has someone like you in her corner to defend her. Please hold your ground on this. You were not wrong, and will never be wrong for being a decent person. And says, to add, forgiving him is your prerogative, but I do not see how you can forgive someone who has not even admitted fault or tried to apologize. You may not be used to it, but plenty of people are not used to it and have basic empathy for others. I feel for your wife, however. She is not a lot, and she deserves to have people who treat her like she is not a burden for having these struggles. Frid says, your wife sounds like such a strong human. Her response that he didn't sign up for this is just so understanding of her. She seems like an amazing person. Although logically I agree with her. Your family shouldn't be acting like this, and since you are married, your wife is part of your family, and they should support her and do better. Your parents and brother should be trying to understand and show respect to their daughter-in-law/sister-in-law, not the a-hole. A-Rose says forgiveness is earned. They, your parents included, haven't recognized how disgusting what they said was. They have not apologized for their vile behavior. He deserved that, and much more for insinuating your wife was trying to take the limelight and ruin his wedding. Who on earth does he think he is? Kudos to you for supporting your wife. She's an incredible person, and I'm glad you found each other. Please let her know this Reddit stranger is very proud of how far she has come and wishes her the very best for the future. Also let her know not to set herself on fire to keep others warm. They do not deserve her kindness, and she doesn't nor deserve their hate. Not the a-hole. And OP then updates the post, but it's from Kate, who says, "Hello. When my husband first typed up this post, I'm not sure what I was expecting to be the responses, but the amount of love and well wishes we received has made me super choked up. I'm so happy to see how many supportive, loving people there are. I get asked a lot how I'm still so comfortable being optimistic and seeing the best in others. And it's because of people like you. To everyone who felt comfortable sharing their own traumas and / or wrote me little notes of encouragement, I love you all. I want nothing but the happiest of things for you. I hope everyone finds their Everin like me. Lucky doesn't even begin to explain how I feel every time he comforts, compliments, or endlessly stands up for me. No matter how bad or unworthy I feel, he always manages to somehow make me feel like the most important, beautiful person on earth. I have no clue where I would be right now, or if I would even be if he hadn't been holding my hand for these years, helping me learn how to love and cherish myself when he is and isn't around. I will always want what's best for him, just like he wants for me. So even if throwing that punch makes him the arsehole in some people's minds, that's okay. I don't condone violence in almost any capacity, but he'll always be my hero and the sweetest, most caring guy on the planet. I could never want more than that. I'm sad, like really sad about the situation with his parents and brother, because I really thought of them as part of the family I have always wanted, but I can't control how they view my trauma through their lenses, and neither can he. I'm trying to help him understand that sometimes understanding isn't a given, and whilst they shouldn't have said what they did to be cruel to him and me because they were understandably upset, very little short of going through something similar will make some people understand. And that is something I wouldn't wish on the worst person, and his family is far, far from the worst. Forgiveness and friendship are two very different things, and while he may not have either with his brother right now, I'm optimistic that he will at least gain the latter for his own mental benefit over time. But that is for everyone to decide. Thanks again everyone, you're all seriously the best." And then the original OP comes in and says, "Hey everyone, first off, thank you so much for the kind, supportive words and even sharing your own experiences. I showed Kate all the comments and private chats when I got home from work, and she was crying about how nice and supportive people were being. She was genuinely expecting more people to be on my brother's side or angry about physical violence, and was taken aback by the love and support you showered on her. And even me, which I definitely wasn't expecting writing that post. Emotionally wrecked doesn't even sum up how hearing everyone say they hope they will find someone who loved them like I love Kate, because the only dream / goal I've ever had that I found worth putting immense effort into was for her to feel as loved and supportive as she needs to shine as the amazing person she is. And you made me feel like I'm doing a good job, so thank you. I've written a letter. Kate told me handwriting things out can help the process, to my brother, his wife and my parents. We'll send them out tomorrow. The gist of the letters is explaining how I felt about the situation and about Kate. I did apologize for acting out in physically violent matter, but not for the emotions that were behind the punch, just the act of actually throwing it. I told them that I loved them, but I love Kate more, and to be in our lives that she needed a sincere apology and effort on their part to be understanding of her traumas and struggles, and I offered them to come to a group therapy session with us, completely paid for by us. I don't think they have to help her carry her trauma the way I can, but I do expect them to at the very least understand and be empathetic. But until they agree to actually show effort towards accepting and loving every part of her, I'm not interested in mending anything. My sisters are all pissed and not talking to them either, and they are being huge supports for Kate right now, and I love them so much for it. What my family chooses to do is now on them. While I'm still upset regardless of the outcome, I still have the love of my life, and I'm at peace with that. We will both be talking to our therapist individually and together to help best address the feelings involved in this situation for both of us. Thanks again for the support and kind words, and if you guys want an update, if my family decides to follow up, I will. To everyone who shared similar experiences to Kate, we both wish you the most happiness and love in the world. It is extremely appreciated and brave that you are willing to share your own difficult experiences to relate and make your point. We talked a lot and wanted to leave you guys a happy, wholesome note for this story, and honestly, for everyone who said it is so nice to see someone with Kate's history to be in such a loving and supportive relationship. So we wanted to also tell you that Kate is currently 5 months pregnant with twin girls, which may or not have fueled some emotions during this event. We're so excited to start a family of our own, and there will be no toxic people starting out in their life, especially ones who do not respect their amazing mother for the strong, loving, resilient person that she is. And unfortunately, that was OP's last update on this matter. Hopefully things are moving forward in a positive way for them both. But now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's story. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care. Much love.